And today my adventure begins right here at the South Carolina Welcome Center, located just outside of Little River, North Myrtle Beach, Cherry Grove area. My wife wanted to get out a little bit today. It's been quite the rainy day today here at the coast. And hopefully the rain's over. That's what I'm hoping for anyway, but we're gonna go do a bit of shopping today. Good afternoon, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. Hitch Hiking Yeti here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Should be a lot of fun. I've not been to Broadway at the beach in quite some time, and my wife is really jazzed about going down there and checking out two of the new stores that have opened here in 2026. So we're going to go down there and check them out, see what they're all about. One of the stores is about wizards. The other one is about books and haunted stuff. They're both very well themed. I have seen pictures and photos she has shown me, and she said, hey, you ought to just, for fun, make a video about it. So I said, let's do it. Let's go. We got coffee in hand. And I think it's time to do a little evening vlog. I've not made a vlog in the evening in quite some time. I'm normally a morning, first thing in the morning type of a video maker. So all that being said, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go to Broadway at the beach. It's been a while. It's been a couple years at least since I've been there. Okay, as I was driving down the highway here, I come across this fun for the entire family Tribal Island Tiki Adventure Golf. This place is completely abandoned now. Don't know exactly when it shut down because I don't really come down through here all that often. But I always thought this was a really cool place. I love the tiki heads right up here where like the water fixture is and the tunnels that go inside of this like mountain tiki goodness. Yeah, check that out. It has been shut down for a while, for a minute. You could definitely see the grounds are starting to become overgrown with grass. And even up there, the old tiki faces are starting to get quite a bit of greenery and things like that growing around them. Still have the water though. All these golf courses always have the colored water. It's kind of greenish looking. Wonder what happened here. There's so many golf, like mini golf and stuff like that in the Myrtle Beach area, North Myrtle Beach. I think I read one time this was the miniature golf capital of the world. Well, now we have one less. No more Tribal Island golf. It's all shut down and abandoned now. All right, I have made it down here to Broadway at the beach. I'm actually entering right here where it's called the Avenue. I think each one of the entrances around Broadway has a different name, different theme to it. And it's located right here at Voodoo Brewing Company. That's kind of a cool name. And look at that mural right there on the wall. Got like a little outdoor eatery, little eating area here with some pallets as tables. That's kind of cool. But yeah, we got a skeleton over there kind of catching some rays on the beach here at Voodoo Brewing. So two of the stores that we're here to see today, one of them is called Alice's Little Haunted Bookshop. And it is very reminiscent of like Alice in Wonderland and the Haunted Mansion at Walt Disney World, and kind of mish them together. And the other one is more of a Harry Potter-esque type of a wizard store, and it's called the Cloak and Wand. So that's what we're gonna go see, amongst other things here at Broadway at the beach. All right, I made it out here to the bridge, and you can see right here comes the speedboat. You can actually take speedboat rides out here, which they always look like so much fun. God, it looks amazing, man. They really got a pile of people in that thing doing some 360s out there in the water. Really cool. And they also have some zip lining going on. As you can see right here is a zip liner cruising across the lake here at Broadway at the beach. And right here is Wonderworks. It's a really cool museum. I've actually only ever been into one of these, and it was in Orlando back in like 2001. We went in one, had a lot of fun. It was really freaky going through there, doing all the little, I don't know, things that you can take part in. It's pretty cool. Have some ducks out here. And they also have a whole passel of fish. Look at these things. People are feeding them. They're just going absolutely crazy. Look at all those fish. It's like koi. So as we make our way around Broadway at the beach, I do want to share some fun facts. And the first one I'm going to share with you is Broadway at the beach officially opened on Independence Day in 1995, making 2025 its 30th anniversary. So happy 31 years as of right now to Broadway at the beach. And another fun fact that goes along with the grand opening of this place, it cost $250 million at the time to develop this shopping area. And right here is a very large Ferris wheel they have here on the property. You have a store here that's been there for quite some time called Sports Fanatics. And right next door to that is the Cloak and Wand, a curious place. So let's head inside and check it out. All right, we have made it inside. And check this out. This is some of the things you can find inside of the store. We have cloaks, wands, brooms, potions, miscellaneous magical items, and a very tall wizard. And speaking of mythical creatures, they have a dragon here, and they also have the unicorn. And check this out, that is really cool. They got some books here, gnome place like home. Then they got little figurines. Look at all this cool stuff in here. That is so awesome. That is really, really nice. I like this a lot. And then these guys right here are really cool too. They're called furry bones. They're like Jack Skeleton, but they're he's dressed up with all these little cute little outfits. Yeah, that is really cool. Check that one out. He's like a hippo. Yeah, this is so cool in here. I am a huge fan of the movies Lord of the Rings. We got some Scrabble, card Scrabble, Lord of the Rings stuff here, some puzzles. And then if you're a fan of Universal, right here's Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon. They have all kinds of cool stuff in here from Universal Studios. Okay, and right here is the Wand Emporium. You can see all the wands that you can get here. Really cool stuff. Very Harry Potterish. These are really nice looking though. Pretty cool. And right here, this signage actually says Meet Morty, the spellcaster. And he is here where you pick up your potion, your drinks and concoctions that they actually serve here. Right here at this location. And right up here is some of the drinks and the flavors that they have available. And right here they have some sculptures, have some really cool looking dragons right here. Look at that. That is awesome. Want to be careful around the dragons though, because they do have a sign here. You break it, you buy it. But they have all different shapes and sizes, different prices of dragons. Even these little guys here in the coffee cup. That is pretty cool. Oh, look how cute his eyes are. That is so nice. Really, really cool. Make our way along the wall here. We have some plushes. And then right here, this is called Magical Creature Adoption. And look at this little guy. Kind of reminds me of Figment a little bit. All right, if you're ever down here and you like that kind of wizarding stuff, definitely check out the Cloak and Wand. Pretty cool. It's kind of a rite of passage for me. Anytime I come to Broadway at the beach, I gotta go into Hollywood Heroes and Villains. Oh man, they got the Chucky doll up here. We have Alien. They have David Cornsweet, Superman. Right there is the old Batman. If there's a little bit of glare, I apologize, but that is actually the Adam West figure and Burt Ward from the 1960s. They have the Danny DeVito penguin right there from Batman Returns. That is so cool. And they even got a Predator. And my favorite horror movie of all time is right here. Robert Englund's Freddy Krueger, A Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, that was like the first movie. It really got me. Not as scary as The Exorcist, but still the very first Nightmare on Elm Street when I was a kid. Probably watched it way too early in life. And right here next to the Kiss figures, if you are, looking for a balloon or maybe a little paper boat that you have lost in a storm drain, this guy right here might be able to help you out. I can tell you one thing, G.I. Joe figures did not look like that when I was a kid. Man, these things are awesome. Look at that. Right there's Destro. Those are $79.99 a piece, but they are pretty daggone cool. Yeah, one thing I can always say about this store, when you walk in, it is like nerd overload. I mean, there are just so much crazy stuff from pop culture around every corner. Look at that Deadpool right there. That is sick. That is so cool. Iron Man. Got more figures up here at the top. Even got Darth Vader. Hollywood heroes and villains never disappoint. And this here is another famous location here. Bird's Famous Cookies since 1924. I think they actually have one of these in Pigeon Forge. Oh, this is something kind of new. I don't remember last time I was here. Disney Gifts at the Beach. Have all kind of Disney stuff inside there. You can find that right here next to Build-A-Bear Workshop. And right out here in front of Build-A-Bear, they actually had a cool street performer out here doing some juggling, showing off some amazing balance and quite awesome juggling skills. But for now, we're going to make our way inside of It's Sugar, because I got a feeling that's where my wife and my little niece went to, is they went in this very massively candy shop here. So I gotta say one thing about this place, the AC is feeling amazing right now, but just look at all the candy they have in here. Look at that down there. I mean, it is like candy, sugar overload. I think the title that is adorned on the front of this place fits perfectly. Look at all these Sour Patch Warheads. I remember liking Warheads at one time. I think me and my friends in school, we used to see who could actually take down the Warhead and not make a face. I was never that good at it. They definitely have an assortment of Pop Rocks, some of those ring pops. I used to like those as a kid. But look at this. What? They actually have like these bubblegum cigarette packs. That's what that is, right? Look at that. I remember them having candy cigarettes when I was growing up as a kid. It was like a chalky, like of a, it looked like a cigarette, but it was like almost like eating a piece of chalk. And it might have like a little red place on the end, like it was actually fired up, and kids would put in it and pretend to actually be doing, you know, smoking. So it's kind of wild how times have changed, but they still do have at least some type of candy cigarette here in Myrtle Beach. All right, I made my way out of It's Sugar and came over here to Popland. Definitely want to show you Popland because this is one of those fads that I just don't know if it's ever going to go away, and that's Funko Pops. And this whole store is dedicated to Funko Pops. I'm not even walking in there because I'm not into Funko Pops, but my gosh, I was so wrong about this. Way back in the day when these first came out, I thought to myself, it'd be a thing for about a year and then it'd be gone. Boy, was I wrong. And we can't come here without going into a store called the Man Cave Store. Oh, that's scary. That's Dallas stuff. We can't go that way. If you're a Dallas fan, that was just a joke. I do apologize. You got to give me a little bit of slack. I did grow up a Washington Redskin fan throughout my lifetime. Don't really watch the sport anymore, but back in the day, when Washington and Dallas played, it was all in. It was serious business, especially back in the 80s and the early 90s. Gotta say, this is really cool. One of my best friends growing up was a huge Buffalo Bills fan. And I remember when me and him sat there and watched the Super Bowl between the Washington Redskins and the Buffalo Bills. Wasn't a good night for the Bills. But man, this guy right here, I had so much respect for him. He was so good. I hadn't seen that picture right there in many, many years. Thurman Thomas. I gotta say, they have an abundance of sweet shops here because this is called We Are Sweets. And check out the taffy puller in progress right here. That's an interesting shop. Raining Cats and Dogs. They even have an anime verse, a store dedicated to anime. Oh, this is kind of sad right here in this area. This here used to be the Bart Simpson stuff. Matter of fact, that right there was the Bart Simpson Quickie Mart. You go in there and get you some donuts. And there's big old Bart Simpson donuts in there. Oh my goodness, look at that. Man, I just wanted to stop here for a minute to check out the boat. He's getting after it. Look at that. I guess the ride's coming to an end. Pulling in over here, they're waving, they had a good time. Yeah, that looks rad. Look at the other people, man. They are waiting. They are ready to rock and roll on that boat. That boat sounds so good. It sounds mean. So people that's been coming to Myrtle Beach for 30 plus years can probably give you a lot of cool stories and memories about the old Myrtle Beach Pavilion. Well, it closed down in 2006. Some of its historic rides were relocated to the Pavilion Nostalgia Park here at Broadway at the beach, giving visitors a chance to experience pieces of old amusement history. And if you look across the way there, you can see some of those very rides. I'm actually looking for a retro store here somewhere. They got some really cool old 80s rock t-shirts in there. I found it. I just couldn't remember the name of it, but this is it, Retroactive. Wow, that there is a step back in time right there. Look at this old Pac-Man monitor right there. Look at that. Wow, that is a real relic right there. And just like in the old days, only 25 cents to play. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Look at this stuff. We have Poison. Check that out, man. Got some GNR, some Guns N' Roses. They got Skid Row. Look at that. Right there, they got Cinderella. Oh, and rest in peace, Janie Lane. Check that out. Right there is Warrant. Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich. Another Warrant. Right there is Cherry Pie. Yeah, that is great. Wow, that's a classic right there. Right there's Motley Crue, Girls, Girls, Girls. Theater of Pain. Right there is Motley Crue's Dr. Feelgood. I remember when I was a kid and my friend brought down his AC/DC Highway to Hell album. And my mother seen the front of that album cover, that's what it looked like right there. And my mom said, yeah, that won't be played in my house today. Gotta say, there's nothing like walking through the Retroactive store at least one time when you're here in town. So I did for a moment walk inside the Stupid Company and look at some of their very silly and stupid shirts. And it was just about, you know, what you thought it would be. So now I've made my way over here to check out Alice. As you can see, Alice is sitting here in a very elaborate, very large chair. This here is one of the places my wife wanted to come to. So we're going to make our way inside and check out Alice's little haunted bookshop. So as soon as you walk in the door, there's an open sign, come on in and check out this awesome wallpaper. Very Haunted Mansion-esque, and there is a vampire or vampiress here to welcome you in. So this here is Alice, and I gotta say, it reminds me of Alice in Wonderland, right? She's just in skeleton form, and then you just marry that with Haunted Mansion and you got this bookstore. Yeah, this place is pretty cool. Just look up at the ceiling and they give you a little bit of an idea of what kind of books are in this section over here. So you have like true crime, horror. And they also got some really cool little figurines, decorative, along the shelving. Wow, this figure looks almost lifelike. That is cool, and he's got his bird right here. Wish I knew a little bit more about the backstory. Oh, ain't that interesting, hiding up here on the bookshelf. We have these little figures. I guess that right there would be Frankenstein's monster. I'll see his heart. Maybe Chucky, Michael Myers, Pinhead, and the Sesame Street's Count. More Alice in Wonderland kind of theming going on there. Look at that. Beyond the books. Almost looks so real you can touch it. And then right over here, we have the old creepy Alice doll. Possibly the Mad Hatter and the bunny. Oh, this is really cool here. They got some more ghouls and monsters over here. And they have a really cool wall with this. It's a video screen, but it looks like just a painting. But it will actually do stuff every once in a while, I noticed. If you stand here long enough anyway, he might get up, nod at you, blink an eye. So Alice's bookshop was pretty cool, but now I've made my way over here to Rooster's Restaurant and Bar. And this is another fun fact that I remember because I actually came down here for the last day it was open, the store that used to be here. So this place actually has a Kiss connection. Back in 2006, the Kiss Coffee House opened here at Broadway, and the founding members, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley, attended the grand opening. Now, unfortunately, when I was here on the very last day of business, which I think was 2013, is when I came down here that summer, right when they was closing it, or in the spring. They were not attending then, but the Kiss Coffee House was pretty cool. I just don't think there was enough traffic in the winter months to actually keep that place in business, but it was themed amazing because right here behind me, this very large structure, it says Roosters on it, was actually one of the booths. You had Paul Stanley's booth on one side, and I think Gene Simmons on the other, or something like that, if I remember correctly. And speaking of rock and roll, right here is the Hard Rock Cafe. How many people remember when the Hard Rock Cafe was originally a giant pyramid? The original Hard Rock Cafe here at Broadway had an enormous Egyptian pyramid design with a sphinx out in front. It was eventually demolished when the restaurant moved here to this new location in 2016. All right, next up we're going to go in here to Scream Candy because there's some very interesting ice cream there that I want to show you. Oh, check out this ice cream right here, fried cluckin' ice cream. They also have fries, crunch pop, and then look at that, steak shaped frozen dessert. Ice cream that looks like a steak. All right, I think that's going to wrap it up. As you can see, my little niece is done. My wife is actually carrying her. We did not bring the stroller tonight because we made a deal that she would walk, which she did. She walked the whole thing, so she done really good tonight. We got her bags of goodies that they purchased in the bookshop, and I think the first sweet shop we went to, they got some stuff in there. So now we're going to go get in the car and vacate and go back to Carolina Beach. But on the way, we're going to stop for a little treat. I think we're going to go to someplace and get a milkshake tonight and wrap things up. So it's been a good time. I really appreciate everybody hanging out with me tonight here at Broadway at the beach. Got to see some cool stuff. It's been a few years since I have been down here, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you learned a little bit. All that being said, I'm the Hitchhiking Yeti, and I will see you at my next adventure. Y'all stay safe. I hope to see you all again soon. And say so long to Broadway at the beach. It was fun.